Hello viewers, here is a Toshiba Satellite laptop. This is a model L755. This was given to me by an entity that I work with. They had it in for service several months ago, and they asked if I would recommend they get a new machine. And I says, no, not really, because this one was working just fine. And so they kept using it, and now they're moving somewhere else, and they just didn't want to bring it with them, so they asked if I would want it, and I'm not one to turn down free equipment, so I gladly accepted it. And I'm kind of glad to have one of these in my computer collection, I guess you could call it, because I remember working on quite a few of these when I first started doing computer repair. Although I don't see much of them anymore, I do remember them quite a bit from years ago. And yeah, I didn't think they were terrible machines. You know, for economy grade piece of equipment, if you had the Windows installation set up well, they ran pretty well. And you know, the physical build quality wasn't the greatest, and I never liked all the shiny parts. I think it looks kind of tacky. This one's not too bad. Some of them, the whole thing was all like a gloss finish, but you know, it's an iconic machine, and it's certainly powerful enough to still be useful for many years to come. So anyways, this one, let's see here, it's got an HDMI port. Oh wow, it can display things into a television set. Sleep and charge USB. Multi-touch touchpad control thing. And Wi-Fi, these two features in the middle here I just don't care for. It did come with Windows 7, and that's what it still has. Oh, Energy Star. Okay. And it's a quad-core processor. I believe this has an APU. And what is this? True Electronics Recycling. Yeah, okay, I don't know what that is. It's got a Skype advertisement up at the top. I'm not too fond of Skype personally. It does have a Windows 7 Home Premium code on it. There's the informations. Made in China. I'll pull the battery out and see if we have any kind of a date code in here. Do not appear to. No, what that nonsense is. The battery itself is probably original. It's Toshiba branded, at least. Lithium ions. 10.8 volts, 48 watts. So it's a decent sized battery. Cell made in Japan, so it's probably of a decent quality. Lithium ions for Japan only, so if this is somewhere else, does the battery change chemistry? A kooky thing to say. Let's see, what is this? Contains nickel, cadmium, nickel metal hydride, and or lithium ion battery. Okay, I've never seen one that's a multi-chemistry before. Alright, so no date code. It looks relatively serviceable. I believe the RAM is under here. Hard drive is under there. As far as the ports go, has a CD, DVD drive. Something that wasn't punched out. I'm not sure what that would have been. Maybe a phone modem. And then two USB 2 ports. On the other side we have audio in and out. the infamous HDMI port from back in the days when that was really a feature worth noting, another USB, a VGA, and an Ethernet that's becoming harder to find. And there's the processor cooling. The only thing I really don't like about these computers is that the ports are on the sides. I'd much rather them be on the back, but such is the way of computers now, they're almost all on the sides. Here is the oh, it's not the original, it's a replacement adapter. I wonder if it's even the right voltage. Where's the power input on this thing? 19 volts. Yeah, it's the right adapter. I don't know if it's any good quality or not, but it should still work, I believe. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in. The other thing I don't happen to like about this particular model of machine is that the display does not latch closed, and that's not something being broken, that's just by design. But otherwise, you know, like I said, I think these are fairly respectable machines. Let's get this plugged in here, and we will turn it on. I'm going to have a major glare issue, I can already tell. Well, that's not a good sign. I never particularly like these keyboards because they're all flat, and I much prefer there to be like a little bit of curvature to the keys. But, you know, for a laptop, the is that key broken? The feel of it really isn't that bad. And it's nice that it's got the numerics, although the numerics pad is a little bit too small to really touch type on, but at least it's something. I think this number 6 key is damaged. Looks like it's going to auto log into something. Try to get a good angle on the screen here without getting too much glare. Been welcoming us for quite some time now. It's got several indicator lights here. Looks like we have plugged in, power, battery charging perhaps, hard drive, and I don't know what that is, and that's Wi-Fi. I think this has a card reader actually. Yeah, it does. That's kind of cool. So it's got a card reader there, and I believe that's what that light is for. Okay, now we have a cursor on the screen. Oh, there's the rest of the computer. So this looks like it's... Okay. This looks like it's probably the original installation. Now, she said she went through and deleted everything that she didn't want. Or she deleted everything off of here. So there shouldn't be any information on here, but who knows. 0% available. I don't know if the battery is completely spoiled or not. So let's go ahead and look at the specifications first. It does have the Toshiba branding, so it probably is the original installation. It is an APU. 6 gigabytes of RAM, so this was not the base model. I believe the base model came with 4. 64 bits operating system. So this really is a pretty decent computer still, and that's why I didn't tell her that she should get a new machine, because I think this one's perfectly usable still. According to Windows, the computer gets a 5.8 out of, I think 7.9 is, yeah, 7.9. What kind of a kooky scale this is. So really, this is not a bad computer at all, and that's why I took it, because I'll definitely use this. I think this is a relatively decent machine. Even the graphics are fairly decently rated, which is surprising for a laptop APU of several years ago. So let's go to the home here and let's see if I can find out the age of this installation. The hourglass is on the screen. Let's see what the oldest program is. The oldest program is from 2011, and it does of course have a lot of the Toshiba bloatware on there still. This installation is 8 years old because we're in, oh look, there's the date making an appearance on the video. Here's the date that the video was recorded for all of the, I think, one viewers that is fascinated by that information. And it, you know, it still works relatively well even after 8 years. The graphics seem pretty smooth for opening and closing the windows. Yeah, that worked really well. I gotta go to sleep. Let's see if there's any other programs of interest on here. It's got, looks like it's got Office 2007. It would have come with 2010, but it would have just been a trial. So, there's some old documents in there. That seems to work. What did that say? That say for Microsoft Word non-commercial use. That's weird. I wonder what does that mean? Well, I'll pull the license code off of there later. Let's see if we can get into the internet. I gotta get the Ethernet connected here. Hopefully this is long enough. I'll have tech on it. Let's see if the battery's taking any charge or not. Oh, now it went from 0 to 85. That's pretty cool. What a fast charging battery that is. Let's go into the internet here. Something's a little odd about these icons. So there should be icons there and there's not. Whoops. Is that what I wanted? I don't know if this is showing up on video this way, but I'm finding the contrast of this display is not very good. Although that could just be my eyes, which have seen better days. Now I don't know if this card only accepts 10100 connections or if this cable was a piece of junk, but it does not appear to be. This is supposedly a Cat 6 cable. I'm not sure why that's not registering as gigabit, because the switch down here is gigabit. So it yeah, it's only fast Ethernet. So that's a little bit of a bummer right there. So this would never be a computer I'd use for videos or anything like that, because it takes forever to transfer a video over a 10100 connection. Alright, so that's one area that this computer kind of skimps out in, is the network. Let's see how well it plays the video. Which video has a lot of motion in it? Actually, this one has motion in it. We'll play this one. I'm so sick of this stupid YouTube premium garbage. I must click skip trial 15 times through the course of a week. I don't know when they're going to get the picture. I don't care about that. So this is 1080p at 60 frames a second, and it's playing relatively well. I don't think it's really dropping any frames. No, the motion looks pretty smooth. Yeah, that's playing without much of a problem at all. Yeah, it's not really dropping enough frames to be worth noting. Now, I think this display is not necessarily. I think it's only 720p. No, it's 720. No, is that? I don't even think that's 720p. I don't know. If I actually, maybe it is. What is it? Something by 720. I don't know. Whatever. Well, actually, let's find out. We'll use the internet. What is the pixels of a 720p display? 1280 by 720. That's what I was looking for. So this is actually a little bit bigger than 720, but there's really no value in playing a video above 720p because you're not going to get the quality of 1080. And it seems to play that kind of a video just fine. Yeah, I would say that's playing quite well. So that was using a fair bit of the CPU, but that's to be expected if it's an APU. So that's that. I don't know if this has a recovery partition or not. If it has a recovery partition, maybe I'll just reinstall that to have the stock image for whatever that's worth. Just out of curiosity, let's see if the battery holds. Yeah, it does hold. I don't know how much it's going to hold. Well, if the battery is 8 years old, I don't have any confidence in it. Well, anyway, so that's going to be it for this one. Toshiba Satellite L755 laptop. Cut this off and then we'll close out the video.